The hobby of gaming is becoming too expensive. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're just going to be delving into some of the controversy that's stirred up in the world of gaming. Let's take it from the top. Nintendo released their Nintendo Switch 2 pricing, which did go up quite a bit from the Nintendo Switch 1. It went up to, the base model at least, went up to $449.99, while the one that came with the Mario Kart World Bundle was $499.99. This already turned off Nintendo players a bit because they were used to the pricing, the cheaper pricing of the Nintendo Switch 1. And but that, in my opinion, that is not an insane price increase. Considering the specs of this console, that it did actually improve a bit on what we've seen from the Nintendo Switch 1, I feel the price is not insane to look at. I feel that pricing is fine. The issue is the pricing of the games on the console. That's where the problem came in. So, looking at some of these Nintendo games that were supposed to come out as well, you had pricing going up to about phew, you had pricing going up to a staggering. You had Mario Kart World being sold for $80. You had Donkey Kong Bonanza, I think, being sold for $70. You had some games that were going to be sold for $90 from Nintendo. Apparently, they launched something similar to what the Xbox tried with the Xbox One digital games, and it's supposed to, okay, so the digital game is supposed to be $80, and the not physical game is supposed to be $90. Some of the games, and the digital games, essentially, you're not even really getting the game. You're getting a cartridge essentially that's supposed to have a code that you can then use to download the game. So basically, you're not even getting the game. It's not your game. Sorry, not the digital copy, the physical copy. You're not even really getting the game as a physical version. You're just getting the opportunity to download the game. And the issue with doing that is, if they give it to you like that, they can basically lock that game to your system so nobody else can download with your code again. So essentially, they're basically controlling gaming. They're controlling how you game. They're telling you that the game is not your game. That they're basically giving you the license to play the game. And in my opinion, if you're paying $80 or $90 for something like that, you should get your game. You should get the game however you want to get the game. But I guess Nintendo fans have already accepted that because they sold out on pre-orders within a few hours of launch. Now, most of those might be scalpers, but realistically, Nintendo still got their money. We'll know if they were mainly scalpers if on launch day we see them sell out again, because Best Buy, GameStop, they've all confirmed that they will have Nintendo Switch 2s on launch. So yeah, we'll find out then if it was really just the scalpers that bought the game. That's looking at the pricing of the game there. Now, Nintendo is first off, they're the biggest between the three gaming companies: Xbox, PlayStation, and Nintendo. They're the biggest ones, and they're the first ones. They're usually the pacer. They're the trendsetters. If they start off on a price on something, everybody else is just gonna start going off that price because they control the market for the majority. You can see it through sales of their console and through sales of their games. They are the only industry that actually makes profit regularly off the sale of just their consoles. So yeah, they're the pacers. And Nintendo changing now, switching their pricing up to being $80 and $90 sets a bad precedent because the other gaming studios will start to think they can do something similar to this too. They will start to believe that they can do something like this. And we've seen it because Xbox already increased the price of a lot of their things across the board. The console price has gone up, the game prices have gone up, the controller prices have gone up, the accessories, all of them have gone up in price. And again, I would not have an issue with Nintendo doing all this and increasing the pricing of games, because let's be honest, the game prices have stayed stagnant for about a decade now. The pricing of games have not really moved up. So it's understandable that games should move up. But my issue with that is, you only should move up the pricing of your games if your games have the quality of that increased price you're bringing up. Okay, everybody kind of predicted that on launch GTA 6 is definitely at least going to be like $80 at that time. They predicted that GTA 6 was going to be at least like $80. And that's just because of the quality of game GTA is, and the fact that Rockstar knows people will buy this shit and they will sell out. Rockstar knows that people will buy it, so they will put the price that they want to put there. And everybody expected it should come from Rockstar, but so that's why it's so shocking that this is coming from Nintendo. And if Nintendo is already putting it at $80 and $90, then it sets a terrible, terrible vision in the future for everyone, because it's very possible Rockstar, who delayed their game to 2026, could then end up increasing the price of that GTA 6 game to about $100 for the base game. It's very possible the base game could be $100, because let's be honest, GTA 6 is going to be more expensive than these games because the quality is there in GTA 6. The fact that they delayed the game to even improve the quality more tells you that, yeah, they've spent a lot on this game. They're spending a lot on this game, and they will recoup that money back. I'm sorry, they won't even recoup it through in-game. They will recoup that money through sales, because that's just how much everyone has anticipated GTA 6 and how much the quality holds up. GTA 5 still has very good quality for how old it is. Let's be honest. Now that's why I'm saying, if a game is worth the price, you can put that as your price point. But giving us games now that are either buggy, basically not complete at launch, and then you have to start fixing it in post, basically, because that's what they do for most of these games. Ubisoft, I'm looking at you. They start releasing a lot of these games and fixing them in post because they did not give you the full game on launch. They did not work the full game on launch. So how will you come and then be charging me $80 and $90 for games that are not worth it? Let's be honest. Games that are not worth it. I love Mario Kart, I love Donkey Kong, but let's be honest, those games are not worth $90. They're not worth $90. Come on. Especially for the fact that I think a lot of these games that they're going to be doing are just remasters. They're reskins of remasters of old games for the Nintendo Switch 2. Or bringing them up from the Nintendo Switch 1 quality to Nintendo Switch 2 quality. And then you're calling them as $80 and $90 in terms of the price. What That is completely unreasonable. That is completely unreasonable. And everyone already knew this would set a horrible precedent. Everyone already knew this was going to set a horrible precedent, because now we see tone deaf studio executives and CEOs as expected. We'll get into the second half of the video here with Randy Pitchford. Randy Pitchford. Oh, Randy, I don't even. You know what? For a while, we've seen that Randy Pitchford can be a little bit unfiltered. He can see a lot of the things that he should probably keep as his intrusive thoughts. He says it out. So let's get into the this part of the video. Randy, after seeing, I guess he replied to Nintendo's uh post about Gearbox, basically, and Borderlands 4 coming to the Nintendo Switch 2. That's good. And Borderlands 4 coming to Nintendo Switch 2. He basically was excited for that. He posted about that on his page. Now you had this random person who, I guess, I don't even know how I would begin to say what this is. He was basically complaining, his handle, I guess, to Randy, that this game better not be $80. Don't take that risk. A lot of gamers aren't gonna play $80 and feed into this notion of constant increase of the price tag. You are the CEO, you have some say with the price when it comes to your publisher. And let's be honest, yes, Randy does have that. Okay, let's even get into Randy, because people might not know who Randy is. I guess you might not know who Randy is if you're not a gamer. Um, Randy is the CEO and co-founder of Gearbox Studios. Gearbox Studios, basically, they are the ones who make the Borderland franchise. That's the biggest IP I think they have of that franchise. So yeah, Gearbox Studio, pretty big studio. Randy Pitchford, pretty big dude. CEO of Gearbox Studio. He definitely would have a say in the pricing of this game. Let's be honest, he definitely would have a say in the pricing of this game. Yeah. So the fan basically complained, this game better not be $80. Don't take the risk. A lot of gamers aren't gonna pay that $80 to feed the notion of constant increase of price tag. Now, like I said, the price tag, in my opinion, could be worth it if the game is good enough. But if it's not good enough, then you're just gonna piss fans off. Now, in my opinion, is Borderlands worth $80? Depends. It depends. It depends. You can't really tell that until you've played the game. You can't really tell that until you play. The only people who will realistically know if the game is worth $80 are the devs. They're the only ones who will know. And a lot of times, these devs know that their game is not worth that price, but they know they can get away with stuff like that because their fans are, to an extent, overly dedicated. They know that their fans are overly zealous of their franchise and will buy their shit, even though it's not worth it. Let's be honest. And that's why I said this a lot comes down to the fans, because in the end, if the fans choose not to spend the money, no one's gonna get anything. Example, the Nintendo Scalper Switch problem. If these fans do not buy these games from the scalpers are gonna lose money, and the scalpers will not invest in anything Nintendo related again. And in the end, Nintendo will stop losing the money. So in the end, you still will be able to talk with your dollar. You still will be able to talk with your cash. Now, these two things are related because let's be honest. Again, Borderlands 4 is coming to Nintendo Switch too, so they were gonna release it as $80 for the digital copy, and then probably 90 for the for the physical copy, which is just gonna be a code for you to actually play the digital copy again. It's not even a physical copy of the game, but let's get that's how basically these two things are connected to one another. Now, the, Nintendo. I don't know if I want to be talking about this for too long because it's just pissing me off. Let's see what Randy's response to what the fan asked here was. Okay, so Randy said, "Not my call. A, not my call. B, if you're a real fan, you'll find a way to make it happen. My local game store had Starflight for Saga Genesis for $80 in 1991 when I was just out of high school working minimum wage at an ice cream parlor in Pismo Beach, and I found a way to make it happen." Okay, no problem. Yes, like I said, the pricing of gaming has remained stagnant for a while. If this game actually was $80 in 1991, that tells you just how long gaming's prices has stayed stagnant. If it was actually that $80, that tells you that game prices have even reduced to an extent. So, what I'll say with that is this is you also have to look at the time in which you were operating, Randy. You have to first off look at the time in which you were operating. 1991, you could still make enough to take care of your family in terms of the American economy. You could still make enough to take care of your family on a single income, a single salary income home could make enough to take care of a family. Not the current climate we're living in where even two-parent households, two working households, two income households are struggling to provide. You can't expect what is a hobby for most people. What is a hobby for most people to then be treated like this, especially when you're talking to the fans like this, like they don't know what to do with their money. I mean, come on, man, this is insensitive. This is tone deaf. Like, what do you mean if you're a real fan, you make this happen? So if he can't fork over $80, and he basically tells us the truth that that's what's gonna happen. They're gonna sell the game for $80, digital, and $90 physical. That's basically what he's telling us, and he says it there. If you're a real fan, you'll make it happen. So anyone who can't fork over that money isn't a real fan of Borderlands. Really, really, bro. Like, this is how gaming studios turn off their fans and end up just losing customers. Because why would you say this to a fan? Do you think, especially on Twitter, man? Do you know how easily shit gets viral on Twitter? What made him think this wouldn't get viral? What made him think people wouldn't see this? Like, for real. Oh, God. These CEOs are so fucking. These executives are tone deaf. They don't. And that's why I feel. I don't know. There has to be a team that handles how you, like, communicate with consumers. He's meant to vet everything he types into his Twitter account through those people. Like, come on, they would have never. I'm sure they would have never signed off on this because what the hell was he thinking, typing this into his Twitter and then clicking send or post, like, or reply? What the? Again, tone deaf. No, not even putting into opinion the economy currently and the fact that in the end gaming is still mostly a hobby for people like me and for other content creators. It might be more than a hobby. It's probably something that they can just even have as a tax write-off because in the end they're making money from it. So it's not that much of an intensive thing for them to fork over that cash and play the game and stream the game honestly. But you telling your average gamer who is doing this and just working his 9 to 5, maybe whenever he's off work and he's a little bit bored, he plays the game. It's literally just a hobby, just something to keep him happy. And you tell him this, he's not going to be happy to play your game. He's going to drop your game and go play something else that will give him joy and they won't insult him, basically. You're basically just telling this guy that he's not a fan. And let's look at some of the top replies to this. Mighty Keith, someone who I actually follow and subscribe to on YouTube, basically said, here, implying people aren't real fans if they don't fork over $80 for a game sounds like a Reddit user logic. Yes, it does sound like Reddit user logic. It doesn't sound smart. It doesn't speak well of you, Randy. It makes you seem so, like I said, tone deaf. It makes you seem tone deaf, like you don't know what you're saying. Like, okay. Look at the guy's response. He apparently had a response before this, but he deleted that post and said he played Borderlands since 2009, bought every Headhunter DLC, season pass, everything since 2009. Real fan. Fuck off, Randy. Now, what makes you think this dude is still gonna want to play Borderlands after this? He might still play it. He might still get the new game, even if it's overpriced. But him getting the new game is probably not going to be based on anything from the devs. It's just going to be based on the fact that he likes the game. He's just going to be based on him liking the game. It's just because he wants to support the game itself as a separate artificial entity. But he doesn't care anything about the devs realistically. He might purchase the game and not even spend any in-game money on the game. Just because he knows that's also going back to the devs. No, no, look at what a lot of the comments here are also. Look at a lot of the other comments here. Yeah, exactly. Every AAA game will be 80 plus soon. So get used to it, unfortunately. I believe that. I believe they will start selling a lot of these games. Again, unfinished games as 80 and $90. That's my issue. If the games were finished, if the games were polished, very polished, and that's why I keep saying you can't rate every game the same way you would rate GTA 6. It's not the same thing. GTA has a level of polish to its games that these games can't even come close to. But they don't care. They don't care really. They just don't care. They're tone deaf. They don't care. They think that whatever they're dropping is the same level, and it's not realistically. It's just not. Look at another comment here. Dog, we are not playing $80 for Borderlands game, fully knowing you'll do multiple season passes that'll cost another $100, and you'll probably sell weapon skins too. Okay, this is also something that pisses me off. Games that have stuff like season passes and release exclusive content like regular content, why are you selling your content this high? That's why I will forever praise Marvel Rivals. The game is free. It's free. You start spending your money once you get hooked on the game. That's the thing. You start spending money once you get hooked on the game. That's why it's so freaking irritating, man. It's so freaking irritating, man. I don't know who this dude is, but he's clearly just some rage baited Borderlands. He might even just be low-key a dev who's pretending, or someone else on another account who's involved with the game, because he does not sound like anybody who actually would have felt offended by what Randy said. Um, yeah, I don't know how this will help Borderland. Honestly, its launch. I don't know how this will help. People will probably forget it by that time. I think he posted an apology to this. I can't find it on his page right now, and I'm not gonna stress myself to find it. But yeah, another one. This has to be one of the worst CEO replies from recent memory. The Pirate Bay. He's basically telling me he's gonna steal the game. He's gonna pirate the game. Everyone disliked that, obviously, bro. What? $80 in 1991 is about 186 today after inflation. That means $80 today would only have been about you were basically spending $200 on an actual physical. Spending that for today for a digital license, you don't even exactly spending $200 on a digital license for a game. You don't even own the game. You don't even own the game. It's just a digital freaking license. Why would I spend that much money on? I don't even understand. Like, you're trying to reach a wider variety of gamers every single time, but you're not doing anything to improve the reason why everybody would want to play your games. Honestly, it's freaking frustrating. If intention was to inspire people to buy this game with that weak ass comment, okay. I regret to inform you that the opposite effect will not happen. I'm out. People will still buy this game. Let's be honest. The game will still be bought. Let's be honest. But this will start to cause backlash from the fans, and maybe their sales will not be as good as the first game, as the third game. Maybe their sales will not be as good as that. I highly doubt it though, but I can't wait for the AAA games industry to collapse on itself and start really counting down the days. Thanks now. I won't even buy the game even if it costs 70. Hope your game got pirated. Like, oh come on. I feel he's kind of ruined the game, and I feel if he actually did apologize, that explains why he did apologize. Because someone in the game heads, someone up that is probably higher up than him, has messaged him and told him, "Bro, you said nonsense. Go and apologize there right now. This is gonna affect the sale of the games." And he's probably thinking to himself, the sale of the games, that's gonna affect my money. That's gonna affect his money." And that's why he made the apology video. Not because he really cares, but because he does not want to lose money. That's the honest truth. He doesn't want the game to lose money because he will lose money. That's the only reason why. A lot of these apologies are just they're just for show. I don't even know what to tell you, man. These companies, they don't really care about you. So, like I said, I do feel that creating a lot of animosity between the game developers and the fans. But I do feel games like GTA 6 will still sell. I feel regardless that game will sell. There's nothing that will stop that game from selling. I do feel games like this will be affected because the CEOs again are turned off and don't know how to talk to the fans to get them to want to. This was one of the worst replies he could have ever dropped. This was one of the worst replies he could have. Like you could have just tried to console the guy basically, saying costs are higher, everything's more expensive, we're in a worse off economy. Nigga, blame it on fucking tariffs, man. Blame it on tariffs. You could literally have used any other excuse in the book to basically insult the fan and say that he's not a real fan if he can't buy the game. Come on, man. Come on. This is not the way. This is not the way, bro. Oh gosh. If you like what I was doing here, like and subscribe to the video. Hit the comment. Drop a comment. Hit the notification bell so you never miss out on a video I drop. Peace.